History has introduced us to many great personalities. The greatest example, no doubt, is Prophet Muhammad, who today inspires millions of people around the world. During times of difficulty, he gave us hope. Someone who followed in his footsteps and gave us light which keeps darkness away from around us was the brother of the Prophet and his successor, Ali ibn Abi Talib. He was born in Arabia in the year 601 in Mecca inside the Holy Kaaba. But Ali is not meant for Arabia or for Muslims only. Imam Ali is the most distinguished personality of Islam after Prophet Muhammad, and his entire life is in struggle for the advancement of humanity.
One of the main attributes of Amir al-Mu'mineen Salamullahi alayh is taqwa Allah. When he talks about it, it comes from his heart. He says in Nahjul Balagha, إِنَّمَا هِيَ نَفْسِي أَرُوضُهَا بِالتَّقْوَى. He says, myself, I tame it with God-worriness, with God consciousness, with piety. This merit of Amir al-Mu'mineen Salamullahi alayh mirrors the Quran. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alihi says, as per Al-Hakim al-Naysaburi in his Al-Mustadrak ala Sahihain, Aliyun ma'al Quran wal Quranu ma'a Ali. Ali is with the Quran and the Quran is with Ali. That theme of taqwa, God-worriness, God-consciousness, is found repeatedly in the Quran. Amir al-Mu'mineen pivots everything around God-worriness. You want to become a leader? Be God-conscious. You do whatever you do in this world, be God-conscious. Allah is first. That description of Amir al-Mu'mineen Salamullahi alayh is unique among the whole companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi. He is the one who really shines when it comes to taqwa Allah. And this is reflected on his actions and interactions. You find even when he deals with his enemies, he deals with them in a manner that is of God consciousness.
The Prophet had brought up Imam Ali from his childhood till he grew up to be a youth. In Mecca, he heard Prophet Muhammad call to Islam, and he was the first to accept the invitation. Imam Ali was quite young when the Prophet attached him with himself and called him his brother and successor. In one of his famous sermons, Imam Ali describes the attention paid to him by the Prophet and says, "From the very beginning of my life, he loved me and I loved him. He took me in his lap when I was a baby, and hence I was always with him. He often kept me embraced to his heart. When I was a baby, he fed me with his hands, often chewing hard bits for me. I followed the Prophet step by step as a baby camel follows its mother. Every year he used to stay in the Hira mountains for some time, and nobody used to be with him but I. None could then see or hear him or be near him but I. During those days, Islam was the religion of only the Prophet and his wife Khadija. I was the third of the trio. Nobody else in this world had accepted Islam." According to him, the real duty of the governors of the provinces and other officials was that they should protect these rights and should not allow them to be infringed upon. Imam Ali safeguarded the rights of the people so carefully that it is almost impossible to find any sermon, speech, or statement of his in which he may not have mentioned these rights.
Another important highlight of Imam Ali Salamullahi alayh is his justice. His justice is indeed commendable. which is again resonating from his taqwallah. When he lost his armor in one of the battles, and a man picked it up who was a Christian man, he found him in Kufa selling the armor. Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam approaches him and says, "This is my armor." He said, "No, it is mine. I am selling it. If you want, you buy it." They go to the judge, Shuraih al-Qadi. When they enter, Shuraih calls Imam Ali salamullahi alayhi, "Assalamu alayka ya Aba al-Hasan." Imam Ali alayhi salam says, "No, don't call me by my titles. Call me Ya Ali." He says, "Why not?" He says, "Because my opponent will think that you already know me, we have connections, and therefore you're gonna judge to my side. They're gonna be biased. Call me Ya Ali. When you have people coming to you, don't call them by their titles." He says, "Okay, what do you want? What's the matter?" They present him with the case. Because the armor at the time was in the hand of the Christian man, Shuraih says, "Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, or Ya Ali, do you have a proof that it belongs to you? Do you have any witnesses?" And Imam Ali says, "No, I don't." He says, "Well, then the armor belongs to him." And he rules against Imam Ali alayhi salam. Imam Ali tells Shuraih, "Well done. This is the right judgment." They go out of the courthouse. The Christian man asks Imam Ali, "Are you not Ali ibn Abi Talib?" He says, "Yes." "Are you not Amir al-Mu'mineen?" He says, "Yes." Aren't you the one who appointed Shuraih as a judge?" He says, "Yes." He says, "Then he just ruled against you." He says, "But this is the ruling of truth. I don't have any witnesses. And it was under your hand, under your control. Therefore it belongs to you." The man says, "Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa anna Muhammadan Rasulullah wa annaka bilhaq wasiyyu Rasulillah." He says, "I bear witness that you are the right successor to Rasulullah," and he becomes a Muslim. He says, "I have never seen this kind of character, but in the prophets. The prophets would behave like this. And since you are not a prophet, then you must be a true successor to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam." And he says, "Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, you're right. This is your armor. He'll take it back." Imam Ali at that point says, "You can keep it," and goes on. This kind of mesmerizing justice of Imam Ali is unique.
It's said that Imam Ali was killed because of his excessive emphasis on practicing of and adhering to justice. Justice is the master of virtues and the cause to peace, and Ali embodied this in his life.
Al-Allama al-Majlisi in Bihar al-Anwar has a section dedicated to why people hated Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. He gives many reasons. For the sake of time, we'll touch upon two of them. The first one of them is the Battle of Badr. فأودع في قلوبهم أحقادا بدرية وحنينية وغيرهن. In Dua al-Nudbah, he left in their hearts, the hearts of the mushrikeen, the heart of the enemies, ahqad, hatred against him, from the time of Badr, Hunayn, and other battles as well. Abdullah ibn Umar tells Imam Ali alayhi salam, he says, "Ya Ali, inna badran lam tadhar lakum sadiqa." He says, "Ali, the battle of Badr did not leave you with any friends." Why? 70 of the mushrikeen were killed in Badr. 70 of the heads of them. 35 of those were killed by the sword of Ali ibn Abi Talib salamullahi alayhi. So Abdullah ibn Umar says to Imam Ali that Badr did not leave you with any friends. The wounds that you kept in people's hearts from killing their heads of Quraysh, Imam Ali says not even false friends were left to us. So it's the people whom were killed by Imam Ali, and therefore the families of those people had this hatred against Imam Ali. The second point why people disliked Imam Ali alayhi salam is because of his adalah, his justice. Some people started to get paid extra money during the time of the second Khalifa. When the third Khalifa came, Bani Umayyah started to have a lot of money. With money comes power. Now comes Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, takes this money away from them. He's taking this power away from them. People don't like that. An example that we can give in modern contemporary world today, imagine if a leader of a prominent country, developed country, comes and says we are going to seize all the powers away from corporations. What do you think these corporations are going to do in reaction? Corporations that are worth billions of dollars. They will invest a lot of money in attacks against this individual. So Imam Ali was fair, was just. And because of his justice, people could not bear that justice. One of the companions he had, Masqala, runs to Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan. And Imam Ali writes in Nahj al-Balagha, or mentions in Nahj al-Balagha, it is mentioned. He says, Tabban li Masqala. He says, woe upon Masqala. He did not run from injustice. And he ran away to Muawiyah. He says, nor was he seeking justice. But in fact, he could not bear with the justice of Ali ibn Abi Talib. And all those people, in a different saying, he says, those who leave me and go to Muawiyah, they're not running away from injustice, nor are they seeking justice. They can't bear with my justice. This is how I deal with people. It's God consciousness, God worthiness. When Imam Ali alayhi salam became the Khalifa, some of the people advised him. They said, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, Talha wants some power. Zubair, he likes some power. Muawiyah wants to remain in Sham as a Khalif, as a governor, Wali. Give some power to Talha, Zubair, and this way you gain them on your side. Keep Muawiyah in Sham for some time as a wali, as a governor, until your khilafah strengthens, until everything solidifies. Once you have the strength, then kick them all out. Get rid of them all. Imam Ali alayhi salam says, then what will I answer Allah on the day of judgment? If one of these people oppress one of the Muslims or one of the people who's their subject, who's going to be responsible? He says, I will never do that. There's no compromise. And therefore, he does not give power to Talha and Zubair. And he writes a letter to Muawiyah saying that you need to leave your position and I'm going to send someone to take over from you. Muawiyah obviously refuses, and that's what initiates a battle later on known as the Battle of Siffin. What's important to know here is the adala of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. An Egyptian writer by the name of Abbas Mahmoud al-Aqqad. He writes a book called The Genius of Imam Ali, Abqariyatul Imam Ali alayhi salam. In it he writes this quote that Muawiyah is not smarter than I am, but he lies and he cheats. He writes this quote. He says, this is what makes Imam Ali unique. Because he does not lie, he does not cheat, he's a fair man, he's a man of justice. I call it a man of taqwa Allah. He's God conscience. And this is what really tells us how great Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam is. But the reason for people hating him are such that they could not live with the justice of Imam Ali salamullahi alayhi.